Okay, so again, welcome everyone. This is a webinar about how to prepare for the end of year, whether it's the semi-annual dues or the fiscal year ending. So we'll talk about everything that you can do to get ready and prepare and give you some helpful tips, hopefully. So one of the things I'm going to start with is logging in the Lion portal as a club secretary. You're going to notice that some of the names that you will see are a little different because this is our test system. So I am in as Carol Example, and Carol Example is a club secretary. So as a club secretary, one of the first things I'd like to do is go ahead and check my roster, my member roster for my club. So I'm going to select my club. And when I go in there, there's several different options to get to my members list. So here I am on the club page. If I scroll down and look to the bottom right, I'm going to see a list of members. In this particular club, I have 5 members. And if I wanted to expand this view, I could by selecting View All. And the system then pulls up the list a little bit larger or more expanded for view. If I wanted to go deeper into each member's record, I would need to go into the links provided. So at the end of every row, you will see a column called Membership, Membership ID, or auto number. This is not the actual member ID as we know it associated with the member. If you look at the beginning of the list, you'll see the member ID listed over here. What this membership ID is a system generated number that is a record associated with this person, and it has a few pieces of information. You already have this on the list prior. You will see the join date or start date of the membership and the full membership categories and types over here. If you wanted to go one step deeper to find this person's detail, notice that above at the top of the membership record is something called contact. And in that is a person's name. So if I click on the person's name, it will open up the contact record. And what this does is gives you much more detailed information about Alan. And we can see the birth date, the gender, any occupation if some. You will see address, email, and phone number. So some of this information is already in the list, but if you wanted some more detail, you could delve deeper. Now, to get back to the club, there's several ways to do that. I can simply just select this link, which is the club of this person, example club. I could use the backspace a couple of times to get me back to where I was in that list, or I could actually go to more and select my club. There's so many ways to get there. I'm just going to go ahead and select this club name at the top. So now I'm back on the club page, and if I scroll down, I can see there's my member list again. Okay. Now, another option to look for membership information and to check the details of my members, I can also go into the data export. Now, the data export feature is a tab here on the account page or the club page. If I click on data export, I will see a list of reports available to me. It's called data export because these reports are downloadable and I can export them into Excel and handle my membership information that way. So I'm going to open this member detail information. The member contact information is just the contact information that will give you your members, their mailing address, their email, and their phone number. In this one, I'll be able to get all that extra detail that we saw regarding their birth date, their spouse, their what else did I see? Their occupation, and all of that good stuff. So this is an exportable report. You can just look at it here on the system and you can scroll to the right. And as I said, it gives all of the information about the members in the club. I'm going to go all the way to the end so that you can see the extra pieces of detail regarding the spouse, the birth date, the gender. Now to export, it's pretty simple. You just select the export button and then you have some options. I recommend using the details only. And then in the Excel or in the format, I would choose Excel format, XLSX. And then once you make that selection, you can select export. Now we're going to let the system run this. Once it's completed, it will show open file, or you can go to your downloads in your computer folder. And we're going to let this open. Pull it over. Oops. Okay, there we go. So now we are looking at the exported data, and since it's in Excel, I can go ahead and start manipulating this data, meaning I can go ahead and remove any columns that I'm not interested in. I can just delete them out, and I can really make this a usable report. There are a lot of fields that are extra, so you can just continue to delete those until you get a nice, concise report that you would like to use. And again, if you scroll to the end, you'll be able to see all the good information about this person. Okay. And this is a great way to export data and use it as you talk to the members and get their accurate information. I'm going to close the report and we're back on the account page. Now there's one more way to view a member list. And if you are an officer that used to use MyLCI, you're familiar with the various MyLCI reports that we had available. We still have them. As a matter of fact, we brought them over here in the exact format that they were in MyLCI. Over here, you will see member actions. And we're going to get into some of the buttons here in just a minute, but there's also a tab called Club Actions. And if I click into Club Actions and I look down toward the center, I'm going to see something called View Reports. If I click on View Reports, it is going to open up a window. Now this window is pretty small, and we realize that it might be a little challenging to look and view at these reports. Some of them do have an export version as well. We're going to go ahead and look at the club roster. Notice up top came a little box called Excel format. If we wanted to download this one to Excel, we could do that as well. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and submit it as is, and I will see a PDF version rendered on the screen. Once the report pulls up, there is a plus button where you can increase it in size. Since, like I said, it is kind of challenging to read these on the screen as is, but you should be familiar with these reports if you've used them in MyLCI as well. You can use all of the buttons here. You can print, you can save it, you can do whatever you'd like. Or, like I said, if you check that Excel box, you'd be able to export the report into an Excel file. So those are all the options that you have to be able to review your membership list, all the data associated with your members, make sure everything looks good. Now I'm going to go into actually updating and managing the members themselves. Let's say you need to add a member, transfer a member, edit a member. All of those options are available here on the Member Action tab in the very first button called Manage Club Members. Now, I'm not going to go through how to do every transaction. We have those in help videos and other options. Like I said, I'll give you those links in the chat by the end of this webinar. But I will go through and talk about what each option is and why it's important to make sure you do your review, or especially your transactions, before the very end of the month. Whenever you go to add members or drop members, and you're trying to get that in before the end of the fiscal year or the end of the calendar year, so in this case, December 31st, you want to make sure you get in there and do these transactions as early in the month as possible. In the system, there is no limitation as to when you can go in and do these. So it's important that you get them done sooner than later, because a lot of people, or the historical pattern is that a lot of people wait to the very end and go in toward the end of the month. That's for membership information as well as service information. So to beat the rush and to make sure there's no problems, we really recommend that you get in there as soon as possible. Like today is the 13th, I could go in there, add new members, drop members, edit, and everything that I need to do to prepare for the end of the year. If for whatever reason you miss the end of the year and we are now in January, or at the end of the fiscal year, we'd be in July, you can backdate membership transactions. You can backdate them 2 months. However, the system will not credit you or recognize that member in the prior 6 months. It goes by the transaction date. So it's the date that you are entering that member or editing the data. So please remember that, because we don't want to wait till the end of the year where we're rushing to get everything in and potentially might miss that deadline. So if we go ahead and just look at adding a member, I'm just going to click in here real quick. It opens up a window, or a flow as we call it, and you can begin to enter the membership information. And I want to mention that it's looking for 4 key pieces of information to add a member, and then notice the button says search. First name, last name, date of birth, and gender are very unique to individuals. Now, there is a potential that this does match somebody else. And if the system finds, once you hit search, that it matches someone else in our system, it will give you a list to choose and decide if there's anybody already with these 4 key pieces of identifiable information already in the system, so that you can choose them and continue on to keep that membership number. Keep in mind that we want to avoid duplicate memberships. It's very easy to just pass through and just enter a member as though they're new. But if you do see someone matching, check the criteria to make sure it's not the person that you want, because if it is, go ahead and select that option. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is there's also transfer and reinstates. Transfers and reinstates can be done again, in lieu of adding a member. You can transfer someone in or reinstate. Transfer members can be done with anyone, anywhere in the world. You can transfer somebody in. The key for transferring a member is that they are dropped from the club that they were previously in. You cannot transfer somebody unless they are dropped from a club. And of course, reinstating a member is pretty clear. You reinstate the member, the system's going to give you a list of your drop members from your club and allow you to reinstate that member. Editing a member is also pretty basic. If you have any edits to do for corrections, you can come on in here and make the selection. Now I'm just going to go really quickly to an example of, let's say we want to change Alan's information. You have some options here, personal details, you can edit contact details and so on. There is a membership type option, and that's the area you want to go into if you want to change membership types. What that means is if you want to change somebody from a family member to a regular member, you would go in there and do it over there. Be very careful that you're making a change and not just typing in the same information they already have. In other words, if you have a regular member and you haven't checked their data and you select regular member to change, it'll think you're dropping and creating a whole new membership for this person. So be very careful that you're not changing membership types. A common change for a membership type would be, say, from a family member to a regular member or vice versa. If you have family, there's no such thing as a family unit anymore. All you really have to do is come in here and choose a family member membership type. You would select the head of the household, who is the regular paying member. But in every case, a discounted member, such as a family member, you do get the option to waive the discount. And if you waive the discount, that person basically is going to pay dues just like a regular member. That allows them, after a year and a day of being a regular member, to also be available for voting. So keep that in mind as you're editing your members, just in case you need to make a change or waive the membership type. The only other option I didn't go over is drop a member. There's not a whole lot to say about drop a member other than, as I said, don't wait till the end of the month. Make sure that you're dropping your members as soon as they should happen. Just because the transaction date is when it's going to take the transaction, and you cannot go back into the previous 6 months to get a credit. We will take the back date and allow you to drop a member in the previous 6 months, but you will not get that credit until the following 6 months. So keep that in mind. Excuse me. I'm going to take a drink of water here because I talk a lot on these webinars. Thank you. So that is how you check your your member rosters and also manage any transactions that you need to do for your members. Now, as a club secretary, I also have the option to look at club statements. And if I open up the Statements tab up here next to my data export, I'm going to see screens that, again, if you were an officer in MyLCI and you use the old system, these should look very familiar to you. We are pulling over those exact same statements and invoices just like we did in MyLCI. You can opt in and out of paper statements. We highly recommend that club secretaries and treasurers use the portal to view and print any kind of invoices or statements and keep tabs on where your balances are, and also to pay. And in a minute, after I go through a little bit more, I will log in as the treasurer because the treasurer will be able to pay any outstanding balances. So I'm going to open up this PDF. There's nothing down here in these statements and invoices because I am in the test system and I created this example club, so there's really no data here. But I do want to point out how to use it. So you can go into previous years to look and see any kind of balances and how they're carrying over. This would be line items of every month. And there would be PDFs here as well so that you can open and print and look at any statements or invoices as they generate. For now, I'm just going to open this current balance in statement. And when it renders, you're going to see it's a month-to-date transaction report for this club. And if I just scroll down, obviously, like I said, there's a zero balance, but your line items would be listed here. And again, you have the option to print or, save or do whatever you want to do with this. So I'm going to close this. And I'm going to now log in as a club secretary. So if you just give me, or excuse me, a treasurer. So I'm just going to take a moment and swap out users here. So give me one moment. Okay, I am going to close out our other person. And so now we're looking at the home page for someone logged in as Edward Example. Edward Example is our club treasurer. So if I go to the My Club page again, and I look at the club statements, I now will see some additional buttons. The additional buttons say Pay with PayPal and Pay Now. PayPal is available based on the country. If you live in a country that allows PayPal, you can go ahead and pay via that PayPal. However, you have to make sure that you have an account and can log in and manage it that way. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to, I think, Pay Now. Yep. So for Pay Now, if I was to go into that button, now I have the option to pay by either e-check or credit card. Debit cards are also available. Um, the only thing to keep in mind is e-check is only available for the US and Canada, but debit and credit cards are available in other countries. And this is what it would look like, and you would just go ahead and type in your balance. I cannot complete a full transaction. This is test data, so, but I did want to show you where the buttons are and getting to the club statement and how easy that is. It's really a great idea, like I said, to get used to the Lion portal, get the officers logged in and using this because this is the best way. We really want to start getting away from paper statements anyway, because not only just cost savings, but also because of the planet. We want to save paper and probably in the future may not be sending out paper statements. So keeping in mind that this is the best, quickest way to get the statements and invoices as they generate. All right. With that being said, I'm going to log back out and back in as the club secretary. So give me a moment. I do that again. Okay. Close that person. So back in as a club secretary, I just want to go through one more thing and then I'll start to be answering some questions. As a club secretary and toward the end of the year, sometimes the conventions are started and we want to make sure that we get our delegates assigned. So I'm going to go back into my club and I'm going to look for the member actions that says manage delegates. Click there. Now, I already assigned a delegate to a convention. As a district governor, I signed in and I created this example convention. And I'm going to go ahead and look at it because I already assigned somebody to be a delegate. And you'll see them listed down here. However, this is a great little screen to look at. It tells me how many delegates I have available, if I've assigned any delegates, and it also tells me a little bit of information about the financial good standing and eligible members based on dates. So once somebody is assigned, I'm good to go. I'll show you how to print the confirmation letter. But let me go ahead and remove this delegate first so you can see you can always rearrange if needed. I'm going to go ahead and delete the person, confirming. Great. It says delegate has been removed. It says, would you like to manage more delegates? And I'm going to say yes. Now notice that it says assign a delegate. So this is how you would see the system if you still have one delegate available and none have been assigned. I'm going to select next. And now I think instead of, I think it was Brett that I had, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign Frederick. And now I get this statement that Frederick's been assigned. And do I want to assign more? I'm going to leave it no, and I'm going to click next. Now that I've assigned a delegate, I can go into my club actions and look for the button that says Get Delegate Confirmation Letter. I'm going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to select the convention and the person. And now I have the delegate confirmation letter that I can go ahead and print and have ready and available. I have one more person I'm going to log in as because as a district governor, I can print the certified list. And that's important to have prior to my convention. So I'm going to log in as the district governor. Okay, we'll let that come up. Now, as the district governor, Debbie example, I have several places I could go to get to my district. I can go to my CA page. I can go directly to my district by typing it in up here. If I wanted to do that, it's a very quick way to get over there. If I go to my district page or I go to the My CA page, either way, I will have a print certified list button that I could go ahead and select. I'm going to go ahead and do the My CA page. And you'll notice that I have all my functions over here, but like I said, I can also go directly to my district page if I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and select Print Certified List, select the convention, and I can either print this list or I can download the list with the delegates that have been assigned. I'm going to go ahead and just show you the PDF first. It renders very similar to how we just saw the confirmation letter, but it is very small, as I said. But again, you have all the options to print and save and do whatever you'd like to do with the certified list. So with that being said, that concludes the demo portion of this webinar. I am going to go ahead and start taking questions. So I see, Linda, you have a question, so you can unmute yourself when you're ready.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Two questions. When will LCI alphabetize the roster list on the club pages?
That is a really good question, Linda. We're working toward the fixing the lists. I will tell you this, that as the Lion portal was being created, there were several different, how can I explain this without getting too technical? But there's many lists throughout the system, right? And there were different developers assigned to different lists. And so all the lists have kind of come into their own presentation. And we are working right now to try to uh, come, Oh, I'm so sorry. It's late here in Chicago, in Oak Brook. We're trying to make them consistent. The consistency piece of those lists are important, and the way that they're alphabetized is really important. Now, you can, in some of the lists, especially I highly recommend using the data export, but you can oftentimes click on the top of the column on some of the lists and it'll sort that way. But you could do it in any of the columns in the list. It doesn't work on the little truncated lists, but once you get into them, you can oftentimes select that type, the column name.
No, I understand that the data does it. The data download does it. It's
Yes.
just more of alphabetizing by first name is absolutely useless.
Hmm.
That's coming from a district standpoint. It's also useless as a club. Uh, it needs to alphabetize last name, and some of the downloads are giving it to us as a CSV where they're putting all of the information in one column, which defeats the purpose of doing an Excel download.
Yeah, the data export, that's where I showed you. I highly recommend not doing that, right? So the data export has more of the options that you need. The old MyLCI reports, we didn't make any changes to them. So until we get to a place where we can rebuild or do some better reporting rendering for you guys, for the Lions, we just decided to keep the LCI reports as they are. Those are the reports that are a little more tricky. The lists on the page that don't alphabetize correctly, that's a system issue that we are trying to figure out with our new system. We do not know why it generates that way, but we have our technical people on that to try to figure out how to get those lists correctly alphabetized.
Okay. Second, not realizing you were going to be talking about delegates.
Sure.
Who writes that uh confirmation letter? Is that just a stock form and our information gets plugged into it for what we've entered from a convention?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. Also, you did the certified list. You went in as a governor. Who else has access to that list besides cabinet
Mm.
secretary and council secretary and council chair?
Yeah, I think it's just the secretary and the chair and the district governor. It's really just those people, because especially because it's at their level, it's their convention. So yeah, it's just for them.
And when do those delegates, do they see that at the 30-day mark, the month prior to when the preliminary is issued,
I believe so.
that they can put their delegates in?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not real familiar with that rule, but I do believe that it is the month before the convention or something like that. Yeah, there's a certain rule about that, but yeah, I think you've got it.
Then last is when when does that information end up on it does it automatically then print to the um, preliminary list so that if we have access to be able to get to it, that we can see what clubs actually went online and did it in lieu of being surprised?
I'm not sure I'm understanding the question, Linda. Can you ask that again? I just want to
Okay.
make sure I asked. Yeah.
If a club goes in and does their delegates electronically on the system,
Hmm.
when are we able to see that information in lieu of it being on the final delegate report, which is then too late to make any corrections or to help a club on fixing their delegates?
So based on your title, if you are a district governor or a club officer, you're able to go into the conventions and view them. So you can view them at any time to see who has assigned somebody. If you want to go look at the clubs in your area, you also can print that list. I believe And I don't want to answer you wrong, but I think it's immediate. The thing about using the system now is that it's all real time. Whatever you put in there is processed. So it should be automatically done.
Okay, I guess I'll find out with our next election. All right,
I
thank you.
You will. Thank you. All right. Thanks again, Linda. I'm going to go to Pamela.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
I'm kind of fairly new to all of this. So where can you go to see, let's say I came from a club that closed down and then I moved to another club. I looked on my LCI the other day and it shows only my current club. Where is my past history located?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I can tell you this, that we have a system issue where if your title is associated with a canceled club or a canceled district or a canceled anything, it's not pulling forward those titles. We do have them. They are part of the data, but we are currently working with our developers to find out why they're not getting out into the portal. And I'm really hoping to have that resolved over the next week or so. It's like literally being worked on as we speak. So
Okay,
please
great.
keep an eye out for those. We know that they're not showing, and we will make them show.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. I also see, I hope I say this right, Hordelia. Go ahead. You are welcome to speak. Hordelia, can you
Y-
hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
How are you doing?
Great. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. What are the membership dues amounts going to be for this coming year?
What are the membership dues? So are you talking about the trying to think. I wrote some notes down because I'm not in the accounting department, but I have a $35 entrance fee and versus I don't have it. I don't have that number.
Okay,
Does $35 sound right, or does that not sound right to you? I have that as an entrance fee though, not a dues. Yeah.
I think the entrance fee, yes,
Yeah.
for the entrance fee. Yeah, but I was wondering about the yearly dues.
The yearly dues.
Yes.
What I will do is I will go ahead and get that answer for you, and I'll keep your name and I'll make sure I get that answer to you.
Okay, one other question.
Yep.
Make statements
Is
to give the,
is there any way to give a statement to the members to for their dues?
To give a statement to the members for their dues.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure I understand the request.
like, they're charging them the,
Like they're charging them, the dues, like you
give
know,
them a statement.
to give them a statement, this is the amount of dues that you owe for this coming
Like
year.
mail it to
Like
them.
mail it to them, or do we have to type that ourselves if we were to mail it out? Because we have a lot of members that are elderly, or they don't come to the meetings,
Oh, okay, yeah,
because
sure.
they're ill. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was wondering on that, if there's any way that if there is something,
From the,
from the club that where we could access a form that just no, that we can use to let the members know that their dues are coming up, and that, statement, you owe, $60, or, it's an example.
Yeah, and like I
Mhm.
said, I believe I mean, I know we don't have individual member statements. We don't have that.
Okay,
But
okay,
if you go in and you print the statements that you have and you use that to kind of individually see how, what each person is owed. As a matter of fact, I might be able to, give me one second. I might be able to answer a couple questions. I'm in the test environment, but I'm going to just check for a club real quick.
okay.
and see if I can't even, because I might be able to get a invoice and tell you what the cost is too. So
Okay.
well, actually, oh, I don't know what district you're in though. I'm not in as somebody in your district. I think I know what I'm doing here. Uh, okay. If I can get a club that has some activity, I might be able to help you out here. So,
Okay.
October statement. Okay, October statement. If that's not going to help me, I'll go over here. Hard to read this. Unfortunately, I'm only seeing invoices with the entrance fees, not the dues. I
Oh,
don't have, yeah, I don't
that,
have the, here, let me try this one. I'm going to go back to July. Would July be, I'm trying to think. So what I learned by doing these webinars, I did learn that the invoice goes out 12/31, I believe, and it's for the future. So you're always being billed 1/1 to 6/30 and then 7/1 to 12/31. I am looking here, membership dues and fees. Dues and fees. I'm seeing 24. Does that sound right? $24? I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I'm seeing 24
yeah.
per member in the test system, mind you. Per member on a club that, whatever, it's not yours, but I'm seeing $24 for each member's dues. So I don't know. I hope that's the right number. I'm still going to find it for you.
Okay. All right.
But I would say that you could print these statements from the statement page and just highlight to the member what their portion is. But most clubs, I believe, also have additional maybe fees or dues, and you have to add I believe, the district
Yes.
dues. So yeah, so unfortunately, we don't have it per member.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, of course. Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
I think that's it for my questions.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so David Madison, feel free to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, did I just mute you? David, try again.
All right.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay. I have someone in my club that's a Leo advisor for the Leo clubs, and they're having absolute difficulty in either accessing their members or their activities.
Okay.
And we've been as far as our district governor and our coordinator at the district level and can't seem to figure out how they can actually get into that Leo Club's page to either
Okay.
edit numbers or create activities and things.
Let me do this. What is the name of your club? Or a
Cal, it's
what?
you want to know the Leo Club, right?
No, just the parent club of the Leo
Okay,
Club.
it's Calvert City, Calvert City.
Spell that again, sorry.
Calvert
Okay.
City.
Let me see if it's in our system, and then what I'll do is I'll share my screen to show you where you're going to find it.
Okay.
I'm just not in as the Leo Club advisor, so I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to see, but I will check it out. Is the Leo Club called North Marshall Middle School?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me get you. I'm going to share my screen so I can show you. Because I'm not going to be sharing any personal information. So
Okay.
I think I can show you this. But here I am in Calvert City, and Calvert City is the Lion Club. And if the Leo Club Advisor comes on down here and looks at the sponsored club list, I just showed you in this webinar the club members list. There's a
Mhm.
club officers list. This is where you should see the officers of the Lions Club.
Right.
Now, if this person was assigned as a Leo Club Advisor correctly, they would be able to click here and get into the Leo Club. And again, I won't be able to see anybody because I am not a Leo Club Advisor for this Leo Club. I can just see some of the club data, but I can't do anything with it. Okay.
Okay.
So you'll see it says 0 active members because we're not going to show you the Leo members. You're not somebody who has authorization to do that.
Right.
But the Leo Club Advisor would. I might be able to see the Leo Club Advisor as an officer because that is a lion, and I do. So I see Vicki Madison is the Leo Club Advisor.
That's my
Okay.
wife. Yes,
But
ma'am.
notice that all the Leos are blocked the names so that we don't show them to anybody else. So,
Right.
but she is the correct assignment. Sometimes I'm like, well, they're not assigned correctly, but she is. So as long as she goes down to that sponsored list, she'll be able to get to the Leo Club and manage them.
But does that show an end date that's already passed on her assignment?
Oh, she wouldn't be listed if that was the case. I don't
Well,
think.
it says end date and they're all in the 20s and 19, and I need a current one.
Oh, then she hasn't been updated then. Yeah. Oh, I see. It's in non-active. You're right. So yeah,
I
she
don't know.
hasn't been assigned correctly
Well,
for 2025.
I'm the secretary for our club, and I think, am I not the one that actually assigns that in our club?
Yes, you would be. Do you think you did? Do
Yes.
you think you did? Okay.
Yes.
Did you happen to make her? Okay, let me go. I wasn't going to do this on the,
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
not here to solve problems, but that's
Yes.
okay. Let me see if I can really quickly I'm going to have to go into the regular system and see.
Okay.
So I'm going to call tell me the name of uh the Leo Club again, please.
It's North Marshall Middle School.
All right. Let me just see if she's on there correctly. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go to that Leo Club just in the way I showed you because you have permission to do that.
Okay.
And you're going to assign her as the Leo Club Advisor. When you go into assign, you can't do it from your Lion Club, right? You can't assign
That's what
her
I
an
did
officer.
wrong. I bet
Yeah.
that's what I did wrong.
Can't do it there. You have to go into the Leo Club, just like I showed you. And when you manage the club officers over there, it'll say, are you adding the Leo Club Advisor? You just say yes. And then all the lists of the lions in your club will be there and you select her and she'll be assigned correctly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad I could help you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm gonna go to, let me see, to Jinder. Go ahead and you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, ma'am. Could you hear me?
I can hear you. How are
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Well, I have two questions in all this.
Okay.
The case is over there. One member was added in the 2001. So he had that member ID, but he was dropped again in 2010. And he came back again. He was added in 2014.
Okay.
But instead of adding as reinstate members, he was added as a new member. So again, he got the different ID over there.
Yep.
So now what is that? He had served for 2001 to 2010. Then the same member, again now he's serving from 2014 till date. But whether that previous can be clubbed with this,
Yes,
but the
there's,
member ID both are different and all this because he was in 2014 he was added as a again
I
active member,
understand.
but
Yeah,
not reinstated.
I understand. Yes,
Yeah.
there is a process that we have, but we have to do it at headquarters. We
Okay.
can merge those two records and create
Yeah.
one, okay, so that they
Okay.
get
Yeah.
all of their records together.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now while I'm talking about it is in the chat, and let me make sure everyone can use the chat. Um, can you guys see the email I just put into the chat?
Yeah. Mine is Mr. Bhamra TS BHAM.
No. I mean in the chat, if you open the chat on this webinar, do you
Yeah.
see an
Yeah.
email address that I just
Okay. Okay.
typed
I'll
in
check
there?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see it says Lion Support at
Yeah.
lionsclubs.org?
Line support. Yeah. Yeah. Line support.
That
Okay.
you need to email them so that they can create, thank you, Linda, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they can create the merge for you and merge those records together into one.
So when I had to furnish all the information, the previous member ID and other things and all this, I think.
Yes, and you will give
Yeah.
them that in that email and they will fix that for you, but you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
need
Sure. Sure.
intervention,
Yeah. No,
okay?
I'll do that. And
Okay.
one of the second question was that we had shown about the members, Alex the secretary, or I'm a district guest. So the family unit report, there I could get from the report the family unit report for the total district. But if I want for my individual club to have the list of members which are into the family unit, whether I can get it?
I'm not sure I understood your question. I think you're
No,
asking
I want the family unit list for the club.
the family unit list for the club. Is that an old report that we used to have in MyLCI?
The
Do you
report, I
know?
think there we have the report, which is for the district. Yeah, for particular club is having 19 members, this member, this member.
Yeah.
But I want individual list for the club.
I would recommend that you go into the district
Yeah,
reports, the data export reports, go
yeah,
into the district level, and if you
yeah.
have permission, you'll be able to generate the member detail report. And
No,
it's the same one I showed you in this webinar. And if
no,
you
this time
generate,
I had gone to the report. In the reports we have, I'm just opening it. This is a family unit report, which if I selected, I'm getting total, total for the family unit members, but not the list of names. Suppose my Digo club, they have their total family unit. This is 14, and the
okay,
family unit
so
members are
I'm
19.
gonna share my screen so that you can see what I'm talking about, and let's make
Yeah,
sure that you
yeah,
get what
yeah.
you
That'll be
want
better. Yeah,
because here, I just don't want to share that. Um, let me go back to this. So if you go to your district
yeah, yeah,
and you can do that through the club as well. Okay, and you go to the data export report
yeah.
and you select there's member detail. This will give you all of the members, all of the active members, but what it'll also do is it'll give you the membership type.
No, no,
And
let's see.
based on the membership type, you can
Yeah,
export this and just drill it, just have it give you only the family members. So if you'll
yeah.
notice right here, membership full
Okay.
type, this
Yeah.
would show you the family member instead
Okay.
of
Well,
regular
I'll have to
member.
pick it up from the list only. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you export it and you put it into Excel, you could just filter it on just the family members.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
You're
ma'am. Yeah,
welcome.
yeah,
Appreciate
thanks.
it. All right. So I am going to ask David, did you have another question?
No, is my hand still up there?
I'm going to take your hand down.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
No problem. All right. Linda, did you have another question?
No, I answered in the chat when you were looking for what the dues were.
Oh, thank you so much. So what do we got?
Right now, they're 48 a year, 24 semi.
Perfect.
July 1st, we go to 50 and it'll be 25 semi.
Okay, thank you, Linda. I appreciate you sharing that information. I learn more on these webinars sometimes than I realize. Got it. What can a president access? Richard, um, do you want to ask that question to me? Because I don't know that I understand what you mean by what can a president access. I don't know if your hand is raised. Richard, who are you? Follis. Let's see. All right, I'm just going to start calling on more people that have their hands raised. So Ramesh, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm the MD Leo chairperson. Previously, in the MyLSA, I was able to go into all the Leo clubs in the multiple and view the members who have been dropped, and so that I can call them and pull them back as Leo line members. But now I don't have this facility in the MyLine portal.
And tell me again what you need to see.
See, when I am the Leo multiple chairperson for the past 3 years.
Okay.
During the time when we had the MyLCI, I was able to go into all the Leo clubs in the multiple and view the members who were dropped. And I was able to generate a list of members who were dropped. And with that list, I was able to contact them and bring them back as Leo Lions into our fold. But now that facility is not available. Yeah.
I see. And have you tried the data export and does that not work for you as well? Let me share the screen again and let me just see if I can assist. So if I were to do this from the just can't remember if I was at the district level. I am in as a district governor. So if I go into my district, and I don't know if this is going to work, but I want to try to get you what you need. If you go into the, let's just say, you know, the member detail information, there is a filter available. I'm not sure what the filter options are, so we'll take a look real quick. So if you look here, we're seeing active members, the category does say Leo Club here. So if you wanted to see the members that have been dropped, you could actually add to the filter inactive members. And if you didn't even want to see the active members, you could just change this filter to say inactive. And then when you hit apply, it'll run this report and pull all the drop members. I have no drop members in this club, so I won't see it. But you'll be able to see any drop members if you use the filter. Does that help?
I'll try that. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go to Beth. You can unmute yourself.
Hi there. I was looking at our club address and I see a city, state, and zip code listed, but our PO box isn't listed. And I can't see how to add that information.
So the new system does have an address section for a club, but we aren't using it yet. It's kind of a misnomer. So if you go in to edit your club details, you're not going to have the option to go in there and add an address. We do want to expose the ability to start adding club addresses eventually, and even club email, club phone. I know that has been something that people have, suggested would be helpful for them. But we're not there yet. So I ask that you just hold tight until we can get that exposed for the portal and allow you guys to enter that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, let me see who's next. I see Melina or Melena. I don't know if I'm
Yes.
saying that right.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. My question is that I'm anticipating that there will be some members that will not have their dues paid on time. Some of them pay by the calendar year and some are paying by the fiscal year. And those members would be dropped from our roster for non-payment of dues.
Okay.
And do I need to have that information entered on December 31st?
Yes, and this is where the message that I wanted to give out in this webinars was get in there and do it as soon as you can. So in
Okay.
other words, if you go to drop a member, you can select your effective date, but you don't have to wait till the end of the year to do it. You can just go ahead in there and get it done because there's usually a large rush toward the end of the year. People are trying to get everything in. They wait till the last minute, and then before you know it, maybe there's a system problem or you didn't get in there, and now you're into the next 6 months. I know in our club we were billed for the whole year. We weren't billed, every 6 months. So we kind of got all of the money up front at the fiscal year. And we would pay into because you're billed forward. So in July, we got a bill that generated on 6/30 for 7/1 through 12/31, but yet we billed and our members for the entire year through the next, 6/30.
Yeah.
Everybody does it differently, but yeah, you
Yes.
want to get in there, and if you are going to be dropping members, I would highly recommend you do it before the end of the month. But yes, you got technically until 12/31.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I am going to go to Richard Fallis. Do you have a question?
Raven.
Hi.
Hi.
What I was asking was, as the president, can I go in and access the financials and so forth, or do I have to talk to the treasurer about that?
No, you have full permission, just like a secretary. You could get in there. You can see everything I showed you. You have access to do it. You even
Okay.
have access to manage the members and do all of the transactions as well. The only thing you don't have is that pay button. That's the treasurer.
Well, thank God.
Okay, is that it?
That would be it. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going to go to Mike Mirugan. You sound familiar. I know we've talked earlier today. Or yes, was it yesterday?
Good evening, madam.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, fine. Other day also I had a discussion with you.
I remember.
Yeah, actually, one member, somebody asked how to club two member IDs. Even we had such problem. I've sent a mail to line support team. I've sent it many times with no response at all.
Well, I appreciate you guys understanding that there's several impacts here. First of all, we literally just resolved a system problem where we could not merge the individuals. So you might be part of a backlog of requests for merging those member numbers together. If you want to reach out back to the support desk and find out if you are still on the backlog, I know that they've already started to work to merge all of those people. We have quite a few in the backlog in process. So you can certainly request and say, hey, just checking on this. Did you get it? But I have a feeling that you will see that actually get done, I'd say over the next week or two.
At least let them reply on it. Then we'll come to know about it.
Yes.
How long will it take to merge those two IDs?
Like I said, I really hope it'll be in the next week or two. They are now hitting the backlog of people that need to be merged. You're not alone. There's a huge backlog of merges that we've not been able to do since we've launched. And our developers literally fixed that this week. So they are now hitting the backlog of merged members. So if you want to check in with them, I would email them at that Lions support at lionsclubs.org email that I put into the chat and find out where it is in the process and maybe bump it up if you want to or can. But yeah, we are working on them. If you want to send another request, just to be sure, you can do that as well.
I'll send another request today also because
Okay.
we don't want to miss the old credentials.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
No, you're welcome. Okay. I am going to go to Denise Lowe.
Hi there.
Hi.
My question for you is when you were showing us your secretary page, it said you had 6 members. And then you went down to where it listed your members and it says you have 5. What are you going to be billed on?
Oh, that's a test system. Yeah, the data can get messed up. Been working in this club all day, and it didn't generate the change that I made yet, and it's
Okay.
going to be catching up. So that's just a system test.
Okay, so it's just going to go based on what you have listed in your members list.
It will, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you. All right, next would be Linda. Do you have another question? I see you in here twice too. You good? Okay, I'm going to lower your hand and I'm going to go to Jinder. Do you have a question?
Madam, yeah. I just want to add, a member also was asking about that clubbing of the members, that issue. Member was dropped and again reinstated. Not reinstated, but he was added as an active member. So how to club that previous his Lionism years? The only thing I think one hitch might be that we are not getting a report. I think the details, like the member name, all the addresses, I think they should match with the current, I think, no? I think that might be the reason we are not getting a reply. But we also had it, but in our case, the name like Tejinder Singh Bhamra, it is T.S. Bhamra. The names are different. That might be the reason I think the headquarters are not able to merge this Lionism years.
Maybe, but like I said, we do have a backlog of requests, so
Yeah.
I would contact them again and make
Okay.
sure that you have the right information and that they have
Right.
the correct information.
Okay.
Because you're right, if things don't match, they might be, confused.
Yeah, that might be confused because instead of like full name is my Tejinder Singh Bhamra, that in the early it was T.S. Bhamra. So there's a different member ID, and again in this case this is a different member ID.
Yeah.
So that might be the reason all this. Yeah.
Agree. I would reach out again if you have the time and make sure that that they can look at that for you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. I do see a question in the chat that says, what happened to all the service reports that I had entered since the beginning of our new year? They should be there. Angie, any chance you want to raise your hand and talk about this? Because I don't know. I would be happy to help you look real quick if you have more specifics. Okay, I don't see Angie raising her hand. Thank you, Denise. I enjoyed my time with you as well. I've experienced the same with the support. Okay. I think I've given you. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to get the YouTube link in the chat here. These webinars will be posted now. The YouTube channel that I'm posting in the chat right now, that YouTube channel is where we are putting all of our training videos. All of our quick how-to training videos are out there, as well as all of these webinars that we've been doing in the last 2 to 3 months. So feel free to go out there and check them out. The ones for the semi-annual and fiscal end of year, those might take another day or two to get out there. We are on the weekend, but I highly recommend that you keep checking because they are being posted. We also, I also post to our Facebook forums. So if you are not a member of our Lion Portal Facebook group, you certainly can request to be on it. And I'm putting that in the chat as well. I do post these webinars right away out there, so you have access to them there as well. And could I please post link for the portal? Sure, I can do that. Give me a sec. The way to get to the Lion portal is basically through the headquarters website. If you go to the LCI headquarters website, I think it's called Lions International. There's a member login there as well that you can choose. But let me go ahead and get the link posted here. Oh, I'm good. I need to get production. Here we go. All right, and please make sure if you're not grabbing these links, you can always go to the main homepage of Lions International and select member login. That'll get you to the login as well. So all of those links are put in the chat right now. So if you want to grab them before I end the webinar, that would be great. I go into Lions International and the portal and it says my password is wrong. Contact Lions support to get that password reset. They're going to be able to help you. Oftentimes, if there's a problem with getting your password reset on your own, it has to do with a backend system. So please contact the support desk and have them reset the password for you. Sometimes it needs a little bit of intervention. Thank you, Thibaut Richards. Thibaut Richards, I think I'm saying that right. I really appreciate you as well, and thank you for joining. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, I think I got everything. I do see another hand up. So David, did you have a question?
Here's my question, and I don't know whether it includes the parameters that you're giving these training sessions on. What I first understood the subject matter of this had to do with preparation for mid-year and end-of-year financial things
Yes.
for the treasurer. Will there be one of these prior to the end of the year to assist treasurers about the financial forms, government forms, and all the different parameters are involved with different incorporations, like we're 501c4s, but our foundations are 501c3s, and the paperwork that's involved in all that, and the filings with state corporation registration and that sort of thing.
That was not included in these, but I can certainly put down that that is a request to have one for that, and I'll see if we can't get that together.
that would be very helpful. I appreciate it.
Thanks for suggesting. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
All right. All right. I don't see any more hands. I'm just going to really quickly check the chat one more time. So in the old system, you could invite people. Okay, yes, we could. In the old system, we could invite people to a project that did go away initially. Due to the privacy constraints that we are now under, we were not able to we moved to this new system for the privacy and security that it allows. And until we have the ability to have members opt in and opt out of emails, invites to service activities, there's a lot of uh, options for members to decide if they want to be contacted or not. So until we have that in place, we are not going to be able to have an invite feature, but hold tight because we definitely are going to be working on that once we get all of the bells and whistles locked down in our new system. Since we've gone live, we've taken a lot of feedback and hopefully you're already seeing improvements and changes. We have some more coming up and we're always going to just be looking to make sure that we continue to enhance and improve the system. So hang tight on the invites while we work on our privacy and security for all of you members. All right. I will hold my breath. All right. I appreciate that. All right, you guys, I think I got everybody. I want to thank you again so much for joining. You make these webinars all the worthwhile. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.